gonna throw some at you. I want to hear what your thoughts are on it. All right. If this is the Army, the recruiting thing I was saying about earlier, but I want you to like if this was Air Force, what your thoughts would be, right? So here we go. So the Army is enlisting 400 new recruiters this year or this quarter. They
Okay.
have a lot of them got. I can't pull the article up, but they notified a bunch of guys last minute, like a week out. Hey, you're going to recruiting school.
Okay, pause.
They want to add 800 recruiters. Okay,
I'm asking questions probably prematurely, but why
go
the
ahead.
uptick
Ask.
in recruiters?
Get to my point. Why would we need uptick of recruiters? When's the last time the Army did this? 2004,
Preemptive for what?
2005, for something. I mean, I don't know, but something. Now, the article, and you can look this up on military.com, armytimes.com. Um, it is for they need more numbers because we were short of our goal last year, 20,000, right? Um, the question I have is our fiscal year ended October. We are November now, so we're not sure yet. Is it a problem of like you don't have enough people joining, or you don't have enough recruiters out there to get people to join? Which I would say is the beginning. We don't have enough people that want to join, not the recruiters, but they're going to add 800 recruiters by end of the year. Now, when you go to recruiting school, if I select you, Steve, you're a sergeant, E5 in the Army, you go to recruiting school. When you graduate recruiting school, I promote you to E6 in the Army, staff sergeant. If you
Sheesh.
get 24 contracts in within a year period, which is 2 a month, which is the normal Army number. I did it when I was a recruiter. You get 2 in a month. The Army will promote you automatically from E6 to E7 if you get
Yeah.
24 in a year, and that's throughout your whole time. Yep. Now, I'm gonna give my opinion, but I want to hear your opinion first. If that was the Air Force, you came in as E5, you graduate. Now, when I was a recruiter, let me backpedal. When I was a recruiter, they had a corporal recruiting program. So your E4s that were corporal, not a specialist, could go to recruiting school, come out sergeant, E5. That was it. But now you can go with E5, get promoted E6 from just for graduating school, and then if you get your 2 in a month, which the Army, every recruiter knows, 2 a month you have to get, you'll get E7, and you could have 8, 9 years in the Army, whatever. What are your thoughts if that was Air Force doing that? Like, how would that be? What would you think if one of your troops went in E5, came out E6, made E7 recruiting, now he's coming back to you at a, I think it's called a line, right, for y'all, flight line or a squadron or
Yeah, spot.
okay. What are your
um,
thoughts on that? What do you think, buddy?
good for them. If they can find a way to exploit the system and fucking make rank and get promoted, there's an opportunity there, and they're capitalizing on it. Man, fucking do you? You know what I'm saying? Now,
Mm-hmm.
that to me is a career killer because now you're going to go back to your MOS with two stripes and zero more years of experience to go right back into your MOS and now be a leader. Like there's a that's a long time and that's a huge leap forward for such a and I'm not saying a tour in recruiting is a small thing, but that's a huge jump. You know what I mean? To me, it would be like maybe let's give him points towards his board score or something. You know what I mean? Like you did a tour in recruiting, like that already helps you in promotion, right? Like you've done an additional duty, you've done something outside your career field. You should already be getting that kind of, you know, good look during your boards. Um, so I don't know, man. I feel like if they're gonna do it, if they're gonna do that with recruiting, and it's probably because it's a highly critical career field or whatever, low man or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they should have an incentive. bonuses, provide bonuses and stuff. Most career fields, and well, the Air Force does that, for career fields that they just lose people every year. They just like air traffic controllers are hard to come by because they come in the Air Force. We train them how to be air traffic controllers, and then 6 years, they're putting on E6, they're putting on E5, E6, and they're punching out to go work to get big money. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
so like those types of cats would get like a bonus to stay in to reenlist, and then but for promotions, I don't know, man. That's a huge jump.
How would you feel if it was a
Took
fellow
me
E
six years to make
E7
E6,
coming to?
dog.
But I'm saying like you're E7, right? And you having a fellow E7 coming in. What would your opinion be of that E7? And you know he's coming from or her. They're coming from recruiting
Oh,
command.
we've had
You
them.
know they
We've
got
had them.
promoted E6, E7
Yeah,
on recruiting.
yeah. No, I've had them. Well, not that I've
Not,
had 'em.
but
I
based
know I
on
know
not
people.
not their.
Huh? Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead, Steve. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I know people that have were in recruiting and did 4 years in recruiting, and then not that they got promoted really fast, but then they did another 4 years in recruiting, but did like marketing or did like training. So they were in recruiting and they were in a
Uh-huh.
special duty for like 8 years, and then they came back into the career field as an E7 when they left an E5.
Okay.
So I've seen
Yeah.
that. Hang on, man. This guy's trying to be on lighter. Um, so I've seen that, but yeah, they just show up brand new. Like they got to get requalified. All their We
So
call them
hold up real quick,
seven
real
level.
quick, real quick.
Go ahead.
You can, if you're a detailed recruiter, you can stay in recruiting longer than just that 2 year or 3 year gig for the Air Force.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
If there's
Wow.
a so so because they promote in a different category. They don't promote within their MOS. They promote within all other recruiting and other special
Got you.
duties. So
Okay.
they can make rank faster within the special duty, right? If you're crushing it as a recruiter, to where you have an opportunity to move into different aspects of the recruiting squadron and work at like a unit level. But I've seen dudes go from, working at the like a actual recruiting office to working at the MEPS as,
Yeah.
you're in E7 now running this whole MEP center, um, and be out of your MOS for like 8 years.
Wow. Crazy. Army
I
doesn't
had
have that at
two of them
all.
in my last unit. I had two of them. They just had to get requalified. I
So we
mean, it's
have you.
you know,
Yeah. We get selected, or well, now I think it's all volunteer. You get selected, but you go to recruiting command. It's a 3 year gig. Once those 3 years are up, you come back to your MOS. So you're like on loan. If you decide to stay in recruiting, you convert, and that's the rest of your career, your recruiting command. Then you can move in different spots within recruiting, be a recruiter, maps, all that. But that's it. So the way I look at it from is the promotion. I think the promotion thing is jacked up because you have a young E5, in the Army, figure 2 years in the Army. He goes or she goes to school, comes out E6. A normal E6 would be in charge of like 7, 8 people. And then let's say they do good the first year or second year or third year, they make E7. Now when they come out, they're supposed to be in charge of 30 people. And if for us, once you make E7, that's called senior non-commissioned officer, right? The other thing that I think is kind of jacked up is if I'm putting them in, what about the drill sergeants that are having to train on these kids? Like, there's no incentive for them. Now, recruiters and drills get special duty pay, and it looks better on the record for promotions, E7,
mhm.
E8, E9. But I think it should be really, I mean, I think it's wrong because they lose that knowledge gap. There's a huge knowledge gap when you come out of recruiting into
Yep.
another unit. Now, I can't speak for all MLSs, but at least in my MLS is a 13 Bravo. I've had E7s that work for me that came from recruiting, made E7 out there, did his 3 years or her 3 years, came to me and was very behind, which it happens, right? But to think to go E5 in recruiting, come out E7, like you've lost so much knowledge in that little gap, right? The other way I look at it too, though, is like the drill sergeants that train these kids or the AIT instructors that train the MOSs. Like there's no incentive for them to, like, I wouldn't say incentive, but you're kind of giving a recruiter incentive to do this. So like, why not the drill sergeants? Like, hey, you get so many to pass, you get, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I think that's really murky. The other part that makes it crazy to me is the fact that again, we just got done with fiscal year. And if you look at all the reports and you just look at news, just net general world, I don't think the problem is we have enough recruiters. I think the problem we don't have enough people that want to join. And I don't think throwing extra recruiters out there is going to help anything, unless, who knows, other stuff's going on, or who knows.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
It's tough. I mean, it's a tough decision. I mean, obviously big wigs are making those decisions, but man, that's right. Hey, give me your thoughts.
I feel
I'll
like
be right back. I have to go
it's
take care
I
of
feel like
something.
it's a sacrifice they're willing to